I was naming my files. You'll see the look. We'll go in. We'll open up and we'll look at the super feature definition. So I was naming my file, the name of the super feature definition extension there, kind of a thing, so I could tell them apart.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see once it's open, we'll go into the super feature definitions, and it'll kind of be pretty obvious what I did. We should probably check it. Just we'll go in the element templates too. Yeah, so that's kind of how I
And
set
that's
up
kind of the
my.
setup right here. That's all you want done. And so we're doing super elevation, and we
Yeah.
got, okay, so these are all, okay, we're gonna try one of each
So
basically.
if you open your properties, you know, you'll see what there should be just a toggle switch on that what is it called, the gradient fill.
Hmm.
There's the only difference. So there should be pointing to a different element template that is either RGB color or by level, and then the gradient fill just goes from true to false. So that gradient
You're
fill
talking
under
about
the
these
super
two things
section.
here. Oh, the
Yep.
gradient
So
fill.
that's
Okay,
it's either
false.
true or false. And then I even
And
renamed the seed name just so that it's
what's the
when it creates a
BL
seed.
mean? Like what's the,
BL is by level. So
okay,
everything BL means
bi-level,
is color. It's all color driven because that's what I thought the whole thing was. So BL means
bi-level is
it's by level.
false, bi-level true, and with the true gradient fill.
Color, that's the color table. It's using a color.
Okay, color false, color true, RGB false, RGB true. Okay.
And that's pointing to, so there's element templates for each of those
Hmm.
that have it in the element template manager for all of that stuff.
Hmm.
So if you pick on any one of those, it's either going to be from a color table right there in that element template, or it's by level by the DGN lib, or it's going to be, and I set the section. I did the same thing for the section, but mostly what we're looking at is the lane lines. But I figure I
Hmm.
better sync everything up because what do I know is talking to each other, you know?
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. But you're still
And I
not
did,
having
you
any
look, if you
success
look on
though,
that
right?
too, Joe, what I did add, which we never did, if you kind of go back to that, is I did add, because Bentley did, a transparency and the priority. That was never
For
on
all for all
ours.
these?
It was never.
Oh,
So I did add that as well.
mhm.
I don't know if it has an effect or not. There's too many fucking variables. I'll be here for a year. So
Hmm.
I
Any reason
just,
you went with a transparency of 40, or does that not matter?
that's what Bentley had.
Okay, okay.
And I was just trying to mimic what was Bentley. And although Bentley, the priority, they had it 99, I couldn't set it to 99, so I don't know where they got that at.
Oh,
I
wow.
set it to 100 just because I couldn't set it to 99 in the file.
Hmm.
It was like a pick list that
Yeah.
said, it didn't actually have a number that you could pick. It just had a, anyway. So I did add that. That's unusual. We don't
Okay.
have that in ours. So anyway, I want to do a test with using each one of those super feature definitions.
Exactly. Okay, so this is my starting point, right? We're good
Yeah.
here.
Yep. So then I would,
So then
you
this is the
know,
starter, and do a save as. I gotta do this
as
again.
in, and you're going to do by
I'll
level
just
false,
start the
by level
list, yeah.
true, color table
Hmm.
false, color table true, RGB false, RGB, however. I just left my name. I put super, and then I just did, whatever.
Oh
I just
shoot, I should have put
BLF
test.
or
I want to
BLT.
rename that. I'll call this Testo1, and then like you said, by level. I think false was first.
Yeah.
Okay, so there I am. I'm in BLF. Okay, and just do a
Okay.
regular super like we would normally do, right?
Yep. Create a super section.
I don't really need to name the
Nope.
super, right?
Nope.
Do you want to go into the template?
You know what?
Do the template
Oh
method?
yes, definitely using the template, but I usually just go, I've been, in my testing,
You've
I've
been
been just
all.
doing my start station 10. I do that. I click it and I go 48 plus 00 because that's the
Mm,
vertical. I've just
right.
been, that's what I've been doing just for consistency.
Mm.
And then, yeah, 10,000, 1,000, whatever the heck it is, template.
Oh, I didn't open the template.
Doesn't matter. Just use what I've been doing
Use
is
the
just using the
picker.
default template and the 4-lane.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I just, because I'm not going to freaking keep opening the template library. Yep.
And are the flags are on?
What's that?
Okay, so the
Oh yeah,
flags
yeah,
are
they are.
on, right?
Well, I checked it on in the workspace and
And
it was okay. So
no,
okay, so
no
good.
gradient.
Now you could run the calculation, but right away, you could
Yeah.
see that it's visible and it's actually using the right levels. The lane lines are actually using the right levels per the element template. They're on the right levels. They're the right color.
Mm-hmm.
They're all visible. So that, and now if you turn your fill on, um, you should be able to have kind of
Well, this
your.
is false on the gradient, so it should like
Oh, that's right. So if false is on the gradient, there's no fill. That's
right.
right. That's what happens.
So where's my oh yeah, right.
The
They moved
over
some
there.
things around, but it's right there. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's right. So that's right. So the gradient fill doesn't actually turn the fill on.
And now from
You're
here,
right.
you said you don't have to calculate it. You just want me to cut
I
out.
calc it. No, I run the
Oh, you do.
calcs.
Okay.
Yep. And I just using those
2018,
defaults.
good.
I Yeah, I've been just using that, but except I've been setting the design speed at 60. Just I don't know why, but that's
What's
the
it?
only thing I've
4%?
done.
Yep.
6%,
Rel- Speed table or
six,
relative?
but 6%. The
Oh,
E 6%, and then relative gradient, and yep, and 60. I use 60, and that's what I've used for them all. And you could leave the open editor toggled. Yep.
okay.
And this was always visible. This was
Yeah.
always
Yeah, that's
this
always
never
fine.
fails. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so this one always looked good.
Get that checked out. That looks. That is
Yeah,
some
whatever.
terrible super. Anyway.
Okay, so now the last thing I do is actually do the view, the last icon down there on that. Yep, right there. Yep. And this did not show up. They showed up visible, but they're on the
Mm-hmm.
default level.
It seems to be.
They're not on, I don't know what's controlling it. They're on the default level. So you could verify that. Yep.
Yep.
Okay,
And
so that is,
and the what you call it are all stretched.
yeah, all scale. That they're always like that. And all the testing I've ever done, they're just scaling as whack. Um,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so good. So that is what I saw, and we're gonna do the exact same thing 5 more times. Now, something, Joe, you didn't catch in this file is when you did the calculate super, it didn't show the transverse lines. You know those
Yeah.
transverse lines that you usually get
Yeah.
on the
Look how
super?
where you're
Doesn't
going in and
show them.
out of super.
Yep, doesn't show them. So
Huh.
those are not being
With
calculated.
all all the textual and graphical manipulators too. I know
They'll show if you pick one of those lane lines, those things do show, but again, there may be other
only
things
when
that
you pick it.
yeah, but it's not showing the transverse lines.
Right.
Now, do
Okay.
that in the super area because you should see the 6% and everything, right? I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
even check it. I didn't check that, but um, it's not.
Save
Yep.
settings. Save file. Let's open the next one. Number 2.
I honestly.
Let's go and create a super section. And we're going to call this.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
That's what's going to be BLT.
Mm-hmm. I always, that's another thing I tell my students, always, always,
I
always, all down and
yep.
pick it. Just because you see it there, I always say the
I
software persists, so it may show you some ghost text that may not be actually finding,
agree.
and then you won't know what it is when the template's not there, and blah blah blah.
I
So,
agree. I do the exact same thing, even if it's in there.
yeah, so that seems to be. I mean, is this what you're expecting to see?
Yeah, except that I'll turn the fill off.
Oh, the transverse lines.
No, because you haven't done the calcs
No,
yet, right?
no, I
But
haven't done any
they're
calcs.
not right. But if you look at those lines, they're not per the element template.
Oh, right.
They're on the default and they're on the default level.
Yep, default level. Yep.
Like, okay, what did you do different? What
Yeah,
is
right.
different?
Feature definition, obviously, and then the element
The
template.
true false. The true
Yeah,
false,
true
because you're
false is
still
the only
using
thing
by
different.
level. That's
That's
it.
right. Yeah. Okay. Let's do some calculating.
And because that gradient fill is turned to true, you'll see the transverse lines. I did.
Okay. All right. Okay. And it calc the super the same way. That's good.
Yep.
Because
Oh,
it's the same file. So easy.
I have seen nothing different on the actual results calculation
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just all
Transverse.
presentation.
So transverse lines are there.
Yep.
Oops, not that one. And it's on default levels again.
Yep. That's exactly what I
So
said.
everything works the way it should, right? So we could turn um like turn
That is that's working it through the yep, exactly. All that stuff that I don't see any problem with the other functions. It's just whether or not you could see it.
right.
It's the visibility and symbology. That's the problem. I've seen no. Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
we good on this one?
So
Move to the
yep,
next.
that's exactly you're seeing exactly. And if you turn on the fill, so now you turn on the fill, the shading
Let's
is
see the
all
calculated.
looks good,
Yeah.
you know.
Uh, yep, looks good. Oh,
Yep.
now I can track it here.
Okay, so the next one, color table false or color. I
Color.
put CO, but whatever. It's
Mhm.
color table. Color table false.
CO false. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Okay. Open this. Hmm. All right. So you can see on this one, COF. Again, we're using the element templates here for the lane lines is working. Okay. We go calculate now. I wanted you to at least see that.
Yes.
So there.
Yep. Yep. But of course, because the gradient fill is off, there's no fill.
That's right. Mhm. Let's see.
And as always, looks good.
Looks good. No
No transverse lines.
lines.
And what I found is gradient fill, obviously does not fill, but it also does not create transverse lines.
Yep. Yep, that seems to be the case. And we'll do our little super section.
But the plus side is here, the lane lines are actually on the correct symbology, right level
Yeah.
for the plan. Now, this is another story. So what I found is exactly what you're saying.
So the lane lines are, well, mine are on default. So what were you saying?
Yep. So what I found is that the only time that those lines actually show up and become visible is when it's set to bi-level. They're never on the right level. But the only time they even show up as a default is when the color is set to bi-level.
Okay.
What you'll find and what I found is whether it's set, if the color is defined in the element template, whether the gradient fill is on or off, or if it's RGB value, those are basically not visible.
So it has to be, but that's a
So
level.
you're seeing just what I'm seeing here again.
Well, I guess my question then would be is, well, it's just taking forever. This, goddamn, spun it too fast. This, you don't swap out the level manager DGN lib for each of the different, right, color for the I mean, I know the element template here changes, right?
Joe, you'd have to jump into that civil DGN lib to see how it's set up. I think I do have a color in there because I have a bi-level setting that uses it, but then I override it with the element templates locally, color or RGB.
Okay. Right now it's just picking levels. I mean, picking colors.
Right, because that's what the element template says.
Yeah, right.
The element template is not saying use the level library.
The element template says
make it
go
green
by level, right? Or it's
or RGB.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
Yep. And that's what now is embedded in this file.
Right. Okay. Well, there's that one. Now I'm going to do true.
Again, I'm kind of what I wanted to see happen is you didn't delete your prefs. I deleted my prefs every single time I created a new one. So I had no idea how it would have happened if I did this sort of continuously like you're doing. So you're seeing the same results. So the prefs seem to have nothing to do with it.
Change. Yeah. Yep. Oops. Didn't want to do it that way. Save settings. No. So it seems like worst case scenario right now, we could at least get the lines to show up in the super. They're going to be on default, but at least they show up. And there's a combination there where we can get the transverse lines and the fill and the line to show up in the super diagram.
Yes,
right?
but they'll never be on
the
right
level.
That's right. Yeah. So what we have to do is we have to do it. I guess I keep looking at my table. It would have to be bi-level true.
Yep.
That's the best option right now.
That's the best option. And the only thing that really is messed up, other than the fact that the tick marks are exaggerated, is that in the super model, the lines show up, but they're on a default level. That's really the only
plan. And in plan.
Oh, they're in default and plan too.
They don't. The only way to get them to show up properly in plan is to set the gradient fill to false.
Oh, and then you don't see the gradient.
That's right.
And what happens in the super diagram in that case? The lines don't show up. They do show up.
The gradient fill has this is the mess. In fact, I'll lay here. You know what? In this conversation, let me show you something. You tell me from this table what's the best type of setting?
You're right.
Because the only place the line lines are visible is when it's by level.
And
But
that super view is the super model, right? Not the super
that's right.
editor. Right.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yep. So yes, let's just do this officially. So they will these the super views are never on the right level. So this to me, these are the only two viable options. And then the false is, that this false,
Right.
the only way that they go on the right level is if the gradient fill is set to false.
Right. Which doesn't get you to see the nice, pretty colors,
Nope.
but
But at least you see lines.
you was talking about where's that thing on there for the transverse lines?
The transverse lines is here, whether or not they're
Oh,
created.
created. No, no, right. So, but yeah, it's weird because you want the transverse lines. You also want the what do you call it? The fill, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't. eh.
You could
So
have, yeah.
bi-level true would be the best, no?
Look, bi-level true is the best way to get it because you need to see something. This
Right.
is really it. You need to see that lines in the super view and plan view, and it's the only way to do it. Yes, it's a
Right.
problem. Okay, it's not on the right.
You want to
Nothing's
see
on
the
the right
yeah.
level. But
I kind of want to see the transverse lines. I kind of want to see the colors, the fill.
yep, yep,
I don't care that they're not on a level. I mean, default's
fine.
fine because if the rest of my workspace is built the right way, then there's nothing else on default but these lines. So
That's the Joe. That to me is an irritant. It's just like fuck. Why to put on a default level? Like, there's other shit falls on there too. And if something else is broken, then the software puts it on the default level. So now it's muddy. Its default level is muddy. But
yeah,
at least you get to
well,
see the lines. So
yeah,
fine. And it's in its own file. It's okay.
yeah, right.
But it's
But,
broken.
yeah. So
So
yeah, yeah. It'd be nice to have everything on the right element template, right? But
yeah. Well, it works if this, like, look, it's so weird that this gradient fill breaks. It says if the gradient fill is on, it's obviously turning off breaking the element template connection. So
mm,
I don't know, fix it. I don't know. Obviously that's broken because it does work if it's off. And I'm sure that's not a WAD works as designed. No,
right,
nobody
yeah,
fucking designed that.
mm-hmm,
That's just a bad coding little glitch thing.
yeah.
So,
All right. So far, you're seeing exactly what I'm seeing, or
yep.
vice versa. What am I on now? Did I actually do the '04 CO color
I don't know
table true?
which one are you
I'm
in
in color.
now?
No, I'm in color table true. I just haven't run it yet, so I'm doing that right now. So
Yeah, I kind of want to just push this last couple just to verify like completely because I actually hate the question when you log something. Is it
yeah, did you do
happening in
this?
other offices? You know? It's
Yeah,
like, I want to say yes just to amp it up.
right. So the super section coming out. That's never been a problem, right? Which is
No,
weird.
I know.
But it's always
That
coming out
works.
the green without no matter what I'm picking, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, gradient works. I mean, fill works, yeah. And fill. Now the lane lines aren't showing up.
That's right.
That's a weird one. So it
Yep.
doesn't like color tables at all with
Nope.
gradient on, huh?
Nope. But it likes the color table when the gradient is false.
It does. Yeah. Oh boy.
I hate the fact that I have to do such. I mean, when I log this, someone at Bentley should be doing this level of testing, not
hmm
me
hmm Yeah, I saw,
or us.
initially when I saw that email, I was thinking, like, what if it does come down to our workspace, Like it's a
I know.
workspace issue. And so you started testing on Bentley. Are you getting the same thing on the Bentley workspace, same exact scenario or no?
That's what happened. That's what I mean. Look, I test it now on Bentley's. I got that's my fallback.
Oh, I was supposed to check for the transverse features. Didn't I do that? No, thought I checked that. Yeah, so they're there.
Yeah,
They're just not, you know,
right.
showing
Because
up.
the gradient fill is on. When the gradient fill is on, it creates a transverse. So that's
Right,
there are some.
right. Yeah, there's
So
things that don't make sense, right?
I have to create some sort of summary. When gradient fill is on, you will never see transverse features. And obviously you won't
Ah,
see the fill. There's certain things that I know that I could draw conclusions. Some I can't because they are, you know, inconsistent.
and there you go with this one.
When you use a defined color, whether it's a table or RGB, you'll never see those lines, no matter what's set anywhere.
No, that's what
Gradient
we're
fill or
finding.
not, you'll never see those lines.
So this matches.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. And now I'm going to do
The RGB, true and false.
RGBF. Okay. Here, so that looks good as expected. And template. And this is false. So element templates are working. Levels are working.
So you're an RGB false. Yep. Yep.
False. So that's what I would expect to see.
And no transverse
Not, well,
lines.
I didn't calculate yet, so
Oh, okay.
calculating now.
Calculate.
No,
48.
no transverse.
You're
Click
at
transverse.
false. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and now
But it's on the right level.
it's on the right level, but no, yep, no
Yep.
transverse features.
And
Everybody says, "Oh, I got nothing."
yep. Bingo. That's exactly right.
Oh, right, because the only one that does
Because it's
do it is
RGBs. It doesn't like
right.
color tables or RGBs defined. He
Yep,
only
that was by
likes
level,
by level.
as expected. Master
And this is true.
untrue.
Yep.
So that works.
Except if you turn the fill
Well, I didn't
off.
do the calcs yet. Oh, the lines don't show up. Right.
Nope. Nope.
That's what I thought you meant the transverse, but all right. Now let's do a little calculation here.
So this is what's weird, Joe. This is why it's so strange. Is the only way you get the lines to show up is either it's bi-level or if the gradient fill is off.
Hmm.
That's it. If the gradient fill is on, uh, they're not visible in a color or RGB.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like color and RGB are just not useful. You can't use them. You can't use color or RGB. There's a flaw. It's either you don't get the lines visible,
Mhm. I got the
you know,
transverse, but again, that's
yeah,
you gotta
yep.
actually see the lines.
And then in the
Now
super
that's weird.
view,
Hold
what
on. In our workspace, normally when I turn off the fill, I see lines. They're green, and I see all of these. Is that because it's an older version, or what's
Joe,
going on?
I don't know. I am only testing this on 2023. So we could run through these same fucking tests on 2021 and go, oh my God, well, what the hell happened? What did you break from 2021? Because that's maybe very possible what happened. Joe, we created the book and we did all these screenshots. I
That's
ran through all
true.
this stuff.
Yeah, it all used to work, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I have screenshots of it all.
Yeah. How'd we get the screenshots if it didn't work?
Yeah, it broke. They broke it. It did work at one point.
Yeah, that's what you expect to see right here.
Yep. And I don't know when it broke. I don't know what version. I'm not right now at this point. I'm going, okay, I'm not going to go back and test this on any other version because no other version matters except what for Bentley, the latest.
Yeah.